everybody, this is the Rabid Hedgehog, and this is going to be my ride in the review of the CVO Breakout. ProStreet Breakout is actually what it's called. It is part of the CVO line, and I just rode that other Breakout over there, the white one. Beautiful bike. Like I said, this one's going to come with the Harley Davidson Daymaker, the inverted fork. It's going to have twin disc ABS, 110 engine. It's going to have the painted frame, blacked out treatment, speed screen, and a completely different speedometer package and seat package as well. Overall, like I said, I believe this one's probably the best looking of the motorcycles right now. Let's go ahead and take a hop up on it. This one being the CVO, it has a security system, the smart fob. Pop it on. It's a little bit different layout. You see that it has a digital speedometer, analog tachometer. There's your odometer. Here you have your trip odometers and your remaining as well on the fuel, clock, and a digital tachometer as well. Fuel gauge on the side. You've got your check engine light, cruise control light, which this bike is equipped with, fuel, security, and battery. Hadn't been rode in a while, so it almost didn't start. Alrighty. A little bit different mirrors on this one as well. The other ones are very great visibility on that low slam bar. This one's got a little bit different mirror package, but they're wide and long, so that way it's a little bit easier to see. Bike does have a gear indicator as well over here on this side of the speedometer. Alright, kind of the initial impression of this bike versus the standard Breakout is the suspension, although still stiff, is not as bad. Having that inverted fork really does help motorcycles quite a bit, and I wish they would do that on a lot more motorcycles. I'm going to go ahead and set the cruise control just to try it out real quick. Real easy to set. All you got to do is push it in, hit your setup there. If you need to increase your speed, you bump it up by pressing the up toggle there, and then you can get to speed. This bike actually seems to be a lot more flickable than its standard counterpart. This one does have a shorter front wheel though. A little bit different steering geometry does help this bike out quite a bit. It just doesn't seem like it hesitates as much. It's still got that low peg height, so it's still going to drag the ground pretty quickly. But I mean, when it feels the way it feels, you just don't have to put as much input into the bars, and it's already starting to go over, where the other one will hesitate a little bit. Now the seating on this bike is a little bit different than the standard Breakout. It has a little bit more padding right at your lower back, whereas the Breakout's other seat kind of just swoops into the back end. This one has a little bit of a back cushion for you as the rider just before it goes into the pillion seat, and that actually feels pretty good. It does a good job of supporting me. The seat's very comfortable. The riding position, just like the other Breakout, is actually super comfortable as well. This particular bike's difference is it does feature the hydraulic clutch, so you do have a little bit further travel into the clutch before you hit the friction zone. Other than that, though, it's doing just fine. So this bike just seems, I don't know what it is about it. It just seems like it's going to travel a bit better. .110 engine does have that incredibly good engine braking, just like the regular twin cams. Oh yeah, you could dive into the corner. I just touched down there. About the same speed as the other one. It's still, like I said, it just feels like it gets in there and holds it better. Yeah, definitely about the same speed. You can touch down there. But it gets there easier. Definitely gets up to speed easier. Kind of hit these bumps here, and like I said, the suspension on this bike is still stiff. I still actually somewhat left the seat there, so still will bounce you, but it just is more compliant. It's not as choppy of a ride. It definitely is smoothed better out on this particular road here. Just a night and day difference as I'm going around these corners. I mean, I just rode them back to back, and this one just seems to glide right along through the corners without any hesitation. You don't really have to worry about the steering head not feeling correct. I mean, the other one that feels like the front end is much heavily weighted, basically. And that's where it feels like it's failing to steer. This one feels just much better. It's just much more free. You can see that there's not really much work for me to fling it. It just complies, which is a lot different. Now, when it comes to this bike over the standard breakout, like I said, you get all these niceties. You get the cruise control added in there. You get the double disc front brakes. You get ABS, just like the other one, only that one's a single disc on the front. So you get the 110. You get some other niceties and stuff like that in this bike as well. And the difference in price is around $6,000. So you're looking at your standard breakout starting at $19,800, somewhere in there. Your higher end breakouts before they go to the CVO will top out around $22,000, and this particular bike will actually start at around $26,999 or $27,000 even. So, is it worth the difference in price? To be honest, this bike ride is much, much, much better. Super good bike. I love the way it looks. I love the way it sits and everything like that. For you guys, I will leave it up to you if it's worth the additional price. To me, this is the bike I would take over the standard breakout. That's for sure. It definitely feels like a more compliant bike. It feels like a bike that I can actually take out on a longer roll than the other breakout. This is one that not only could I cruise around the city and enjoy, you know, time with friends and stuff like that, just riding around the city and hopping joints and stuff. This is a bike that I'll be able to go out to the twisties, and although I'll still scrape some pegs pretty quickly, this bike seems to be more compliant. The way the suspension is set up is better. The seat is better. The seating position is a little bit more tucked into the bike even. I'm a little bit laid back than I was on the standard breakout, and it just feels better. Just overall, everything is much better on this bike. So is it worth that extra price? To me, I would do it. I would skip over the regular breakout and go to this one. Just because of the way it rides. It rides much better. Everything is laid out perfectly. I just like the way it looks. I love the painted, frame that's in that scorched apple is what it's called. This is Starfire Black on the top. Has that beautiful accent line on it as well that just looks amazing on it. I mean, everything on this bike looks great. So is it worth it? To me, it would be, especially if you can cut a deal on it. So this would be a Rabid Hedgehog approved bike versus the standard Breakout. But the ProStreet Breakout is definitely one I like better. And it's not just because it's got more power. It's not any of that. It just rides better. The brakes are great as well. Using these double disc brakes on the front and everything. I mean, I've not had any braking problems. They're really good. I mean, I just kind of dip my finger into it here. I just do one finger on the front and get the back pedal in there, and everything just comes out pretty good. It's an easy bike to balance, as you could tell. I was just bouncing along most of that time without my feet down. Just easy to do. I mean, it's just like the other Breakout in terms of that ability. But this is just overall a much more compliant bike, much better bike. So at any rate, this is the Rabid Hedgehog, and if you have any more questions about the ProStreet Breakout, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer those. If you think it's not worth that extra price, you can tell me that too. You know, I love the discussion that we have. I appreciate all you guys. Keep that shiny side up. We'll catch you on the next review.